level.
Yeah, perfect.
But just because of, I feel like people already know who you are anyways, but it's an honor to have you here.
Oh,
First
man.
of all, thank you for your service.
Oh,
and former Navy SEAL, sniper.
Yeah.
I want to get into how that even, #1 New York Times bestseller. We got a couple of those in this room today.
There we go. Nice.
Kind of a weird feeling, right? Did you ever see yourself being a New York Times bestselling author?
I did because I grew up reading all these books, and at the top of all of them, it said #1 New York Times bestselling author of. And so I grew up reading Tom Clancy and Nelson DeMille and A.J. Quinnell and J.C. Pollock, Mark Olden, Tom Clancy, Louis L'Amour, all these guys.
So
who
you're
were
a scholar.
I don't know if someone would say those books are scholarly, but it's certainly more like a pop culture type
I think
contemporary fiction at the time.
Knowledge is power. And the fact that you were at it from a young age, I still read books. It's something that I feel is like lost. Not everyone wants to watch the movie. I'd rather read the book.
There you go.
I think there's more. You're a deeper person when the nuances of a book. You can't really.
Yeah.
I love movies. Don't get me wrong.
Me too.
But I don't watch movies for information.
Yeah. I mean, it's influence of popular culture, but it's interesting that you say that as far as reading goes, because when you put yourself into someone else's shoes, which you do when you read fiction,
yes,
you really develop this compassion and empathy that's harder to develop in other ways. But when you spend 500 pages seeing the world through someone else's eyes, it does that. And what's interesting when I think about my kids and I think about them scrolling on social media or looking at comments section of social media develops the opposite attribute.
Yeah, it's like an
opposite.
impulse.
Yeah,
it's not
opposite of empathy and compassion, because you're not seeing the world through another person's eyes. You're being programmed to get outraged or to do it. Well, you're being programmed to stay on the device. That's what you're being programmed.
You're being influenced.
You're being influenced. It's a manipulation device.
Yeah.
It's a manipulation device. So, but fiction, that's interesting that you said that, because I really think that that reading fiction, and if I could give people any advice, which I don't usually do, but in this case it makes sense in terms of this conversation, your life will be 99% better if you put that phone down and stop scrolling and pick up a book. Any book, and you won't have to go too far to find one that you like. Just do that.
You know, it's amazing you said that. So, part of my career, I had this massive social media, all these numbers, millions of followers, all this fun stuff. And when AI came in, I really had a problem with, especially Facebook and Instagrams, and using the AI versions of me, and a lot of other, not just me, but anyone who was so-called celeb or fame or whatever with a fan base, and it was always asking for money or was catfishing people over and over again. And I would go to, my wife would contact Facebook and be like, hey, that's not true. Some of the wildest things. I think I adopted a child with autism, but in the picture, the kid on the shirt his shirt said autism. Who would, it's just ridiculous, right? But then I needed funds to take care of it, or I'm getting a divorce and my wife has all my money. And I'm seeing all this stuff, and I was like, if I'm not present on social media, maybe they won't have the opportunity to do it. And at the same time, my concern is I can't watch my kids all the time. It's everywhere. But if we have it, as parents, if we have it, it's a little hard to dictate to them not to use it. So we just got rid of it. Just stopped making any posts other than I have, like, they put up the podcasts and like billboard for my concert events, but that's it. Yeah. And at first a lot of people were saying, well, you're going to lose a lot of business and this. I didn't. And I also found that in doing that, the first week was a little rough with my kids, but once it settled in, and like if dad's reading a book and they got to pick a book and then you talk about the book, you've just created a whole new dialogue. And I got to be awesome when my daughter is explaining to me how To Kill a Mockingbird goes through the idea, the spectrum of a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
It is awesome. And you cannot get that scrolling on a phone together. And I think a lot of parents, but it has to start from
Yeah, I think we missed our window. The kids are getting a little older now, so it's but I wish if I could go back, I certainly would have kept the phones out of their hands for a lot longer. And for me, it's a tool. It's for business, but it still affects me.
Yeah,
I go on there to thank somebody for reading the book or watching the TV show or whatever it is. But I see all the craziness also, and it knows exactly what to feed me. Obviously, for me, it's watches and Land Cruisers and motorcycles. Like, it knows exactly what to do. And I'll get on there. I'm just going to do a quick post. Okay, I know exactly what I'm going to do. It's copied. It's pasted. It's ready. Oh, look at that watch. Oh, look at that sweet Land Cruiser. And then 20 minutes go by. I'm like, what was I on here for? Oh, it got me.
Exactly. Yeah. It's
So
six wheel trucks.
Oh, they got
fish, because I collect cichlids and stuff, and like any old wrestling. Oh, I remember this match, and the next thing you know, and putting a stop to that. you just have to put it down. Like on my phone, we have I think all on iPhones have it, where it'll tell you how much social media you have.
Yeah.
And I'm down to 2 hours a week. And it's literally just post for work. And actually, a lot of these guys do it for me. They collaborate. So I don't have to all I got to do is hit review.
I need to do it.
But you go through a little bit of withdrawal.
Yeah.
It's a weird little addiction.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, I know it's got me too, just like everybody else. I'm not immune to it. Certainly not immune to it. And obviously, it knows my preferences. It knows what's going to keep me scrolling and keep me from actually doing that post that we talked about. But for me, it was an opportunity. Like I looked at publishing as the same way I looked at the battlefield, meaning I looked for gaps in the enemy's defenses. And really, on the battlefield, it's who adapts faster. That's the person who usually comes out on the top. Because you're a man of great discipline.
You could not become a Navy SEAL, let alone a Navy SEAL sniper, without an extremely high level of discipline.
Yeah, you need the discipline for sure. Thinking about social media, it certainly erodes at that discipline because it knows. But I saw that as kind of a little bit of an opportunity, meaning an author in 1975, 85, 95, they had readers back then. We have a lot less readers today. Okay, so that's something. I'm stepping into a private sector industry where a lot less people are doing the thing, and that's reading. Same thing with Hollywood and same thing with TV shows. Yep. And I have a whiskey. Less people drinking today. That's beside the point. I'm stepping into these different industries where less people are doing those things. So I thought, well, what can I do today that authors couldn't have done in 1975, 85, 95, even the early 2000s? And okay, social media is one of those things. Podcasts like this is one of those things. Having my own is one of those things. Having a merch line is one of those things. Having a television show, okay, you could have done that in the 70s, 80s, but now you can also engage with an audience that you couldn't have. You can say thank you to that person who reaches out and says they liked the book. Exactly. It's much more personal. Exactly. Back then, you had to find out, hey, when is this author coming to town? If you were going to figure that out, how are you going to do that? Okay, maybe you saw it in a magazine. A bookstore would have it like taped up or something like that. You could see, oh, John Grisham is coming on this day. Okay, great. Do I need a ticket? Do I just show up? So you'd have to do that and put in the work. And then you could go down there. You could shake that author's hand and say, hey, thank you. I love the book. And they can look you in the eye and say, thank you. And I love doing that on book tour. But now I can do it throughout the year too, during a time when less people are reading. Exactly.
Now, a lot of times when I've talked to a lot of men who serve, they talk about the importance of purpose from the time you leave, because a lot of the veterans that come out, they have going through a tremendous. We have homelessness, we have depression, suicides, and they said one of the biggest things is you have to find purpose.
Yeah.
Now, when I'd like to get into your origin story, how you ended up joining the Navy and all that stuff, but when you were getting ready to transition to civilian life, had you already had your stuff laid out, or was there a period where you kind of were like a fish out of water and kind of found your way?
I was very lucky in that I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and I knew I wanted to be a SEAL from age 7 onward.
Wow.
Then I knew about age 10 that I was going to write afterward. So I kind of knew my path.
So you had to blueprint it out.
I had to blueprint it out, but when as I got closer to leaving the military, I saw a lot of people who had a hard time leaving.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that with professional sports. We live in Park City now, so I see it with Olympic athletes out there. Really, anything that's where the team is of greater importance than the self, or if it's an individual sport, and obviously you have other people as part of that team that are helping you in that individual sport. But when it comes time to do something else that after you've devoted so much of your life and your formative years to that thing, whatever it might be, it's hard to move on.
I call it a haze, because I remember when football was over, I didn't know what to do with myself from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day. Wow. I was just kind of lost.
Yeah.
And I ended up watching a lot of soap operas.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? Not great. One Life to Live. I was all about Victor and stuff. But you were like, luckily for me, it was a soap opera and it wasn't like a nightclub,
Right.
But that wasn't a good period. But there was that time of just, okay, we got to figure, all right, we got to figure something out here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so I had time to think about it. So I was taking guys down range for a majority of my time in uniform. But then my last couple of years, I was the operations officer at BUD, so our SEAL training facility. And there you're not taking guys to Iraq and Afghanistan anymore. I knew I was getting out. So it was just a different type of responsibility and a type of responsibility that allowed me to do some other things and think about getting out. I knew I wanted to write. Okay, I can start writing because each and every second of every single day doesn't have to be focused on now being the best leader and operator I possibly can be, because I'm going to take guys downrange, and the decisions I make under fire are going to affect them and their families for the rest of their lives, or it's going to have multi-generational effects if something goes sideways here, and it's going to affect their children, even grandchildren. So everything that I did when I was taking guys downrange was focused on the job and being the best leader and operator that I could. But as I got near the end, I thought, okay, here we go. I'm about a year and a half left, and I'll start writing. I'm seeing all these guys have a very hard time leaving this job behind. They built a foundation, and for almost everybody, it's a very solid foundation, but they're having a hard time building upon it as they leave. They're staying stuck in it. It's like wet cement, and their feet are staying stuck in this thing, and they can't build on it. So I recognized that, and I thought, okay, what is my mission in life? Well, my mission in life going forward is to take care of my family. We have a middle child with severe special needs who needs 24/7 full-time care for life. So taking care of him and making sure he's all set, that's my mission. Okay, my passion is writing. How do I combine those two things to give me purpose going forward? Right. So when you say purpose, I think it's that combination of that mission, and everybody's gonna have a different mission in life. Everybody's gonna have a different passion. But if somehow you can figure out how to combine those two and turn that into purpose, then I think that's what worked for me anyway. Everybody's gonna have a different blueprint.
Because your pressure was life and death. Yeah. There's a level of just one wrong move, one flinch can change, like you said, a family's entire life. Yeah. That's a lot of pressure all the time, and then all of a sudden it's gone. And it's life pressure. It's different, but it's not the same.
Not the same.
You're not, it's not this.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the slow blade, which is the worst, because it's that I need to make something happen now.
Yeah.
If I'm not having it happen now, then it's never going to happen. Opposed to like you're going from sprinting to a marathon. Well, would that be an accurate depiction?
Yeah, that would definitely be an accurate depiction. But also at the same time, it's when you leave that high pressure environment, a lot of guys I saw were trying to recreate those feelings that they had when they were going in to, let's say, hit a target in Baghdad.
Right.
And you're not going to have that same feeling on the outside. You just have to accept that going forward, that it's going to be different. Life's going to be different. That was one part of your life. Now it's time to turn that page, start a new chapter, but it's not going to be the same. And that's okay. I mean, that happens, doesn't just happen to people in the military. It can be any life transition, anything. It could be a divorce, it could be the death of a loved one,
go from being
job
a number one
change.
TV show host, and then the show's canceled.
Anything.
And now life starts over.
Yep.
And you have to figure out that not everywhere you go, everyone's going to be, oh, hey, that's the guy.
Life changes.
You got to figure it out.
And you have to adapt. You have to adapt to it, and that's what happens downrange. It's whoever adapts faster usually is going to be the one that ends up on top, but then you have to anticipate what is the enemy going to think you're going to do in adaptation to them and take one step beyond that. So it's that three-dimensional chess that we talk about.
All right, so let's get into... Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you just saw, don't stop there. You can catch the full conversations right here only on Planet Tyrus. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And you don't want to miss what's next. I'm telling you, bad things will happen. Oh, I'm just playing. Nothing bad's going to happen, but I won't be your friend.